And that's the fun part of being in the tech industry, where there are certain technologies that are reaching maturity that need to get deployed and show real results. And then we now have essentially an emergence of a completely new set of technology, which I think is going to be a revolutionary.
You say it will be a revolution. I think we all feel it will be a revolution, but there is a certain fear, particularly about artificial intelligence. People feel it dehumanizes us and so on. Now, what steps do we need actually to make sure that those technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, remain society-oriented and human-centered?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point, and I think a very important consideration, and quite frankly, a design consideration. In fact, one of the things we think a lot about is how to deploy this technology to empower human beings to do more. So, for example, like on New Year's Day, I saw this tweet by Andrej Karpathy, who was an ex-founder of the autopilot group at Tesla, who's an AI developer. And so he sort of referenced perhaps the biggest product that made a difference in his life in the last 12 months was the GitHub Copilot we had launched last year. So here's a software developer using tools and saying, now GitHub Copilot is generating 80% of his code. So that doesn't mean Andrej is not writing new code and being at his creative best. It just so happens that now he has 80% leverage in doing what he's doing. He's still the pilot. He does have a co-pilot. So that's why I even like the branding of what we did there, because I think it helps put the pilot in charge and the co-pilot helping the pilot. But that's one example. I'll give you another anecdote, which for me perhaps was the most revealing of what can happen. I was in India at the beginning of January, and I saw this demo, Klaus. In India, one of the things that's very exceptional that's happening is digital public goods that are getting built for identity, payment, many systems. And one of the digital public goods that's getting built is for language translation, right? So basically they have an open source project so that anybody building any application in India can translate between any language in any Indian language. So a demo I saw was a rural Indian farmer trying to access some government program, right? So he just expressed a complex thought in speech in one of the local languages that got translated and interpreted by a bot, and a response came back saying, go to a portal and here is how you'll access the program. He said, look, I'm not going to go to the portal. I want you to do this for me. And it completed it. And the reason why it was able to complete it was because a developer building it had taken GPT and trained it over all of the Government of India documents and then scaffolded it with this speech recognition software. So think about what that meant, right? That basically meant that a large model, a foundational model that was developed in the West Coast of the United States a few months before, had made its way to a developer in India who then sort of added value to it to make a difference in a remote villager's life. And I've never seen that type of diffusion. To your point about the Industrial Revolution, Klaus, I would say, we're still waiting for the Industrial Revolution to reach some large parts of the world 250 years after. The internet maybe took 30 years. Maybe the cloud and mobile took 15 years. And now I think we're talking months, which to me, I think is perhaps the benefit. Doesn't mean, to your core question, we shouldn't take something like AI safety as a core consideration right, at the design time. And so therefore, even when we launch these APIs, which we did this week, one of the key things is the APIs have safety built into it for harmful content or the context in which they're used. So a lot of work needs to go into it still, but we think of both the unintended consequences and the benefits both being something that we harness.
So you feel that GPT and similar technology will become very fast, penetrating our lives, business lives, but also personal lives?
Yeah, I think about, we all remember in 2007, 2008, the birth. So that was the last time I would say we had major platforms being born, right? The mobile platform, and the cloud platform. And, in the last 15 years, they've gone mainstream. We're still, I would say, still in the throes of its penetration, but it's significantly understood that this technology is making a real difference. I think that the AI piece and this particular generation of AI is showing that type of, I would say, platform shift. And just to kind of give you an intuition, Klaus, as to what exactly happened. Like, why are we talking about AI in January of 23? After all, we were talking about it last year. But there seems to be, even I had not expected, if you had asked me last month coming to WEF, would I be talking about AI this much? But it turns out that, even the ChatGPT moment has, I think, captured people's imagination. But we started the work with OpenAI, I would say, 3.5 years ago, when we started building the AI supercomputer in Azure to train these large models. So, in fact, the workload of this particular form of AI requires a complete rethink even in the system architecture of the computing infrastructure. And we did that hard work and trained these models. And when you look at GPT-3 to 3.5 to what's coming, these are non-linear developments. So they're showing emergent capability. And I'm not saying this is the last model architecture innovation. There'll be more to come. But the fact is that these things by themselves are becoming platforms that I think truly can make a difference.
Let's see, with the audience, I raise a question. Who of you has made already his own personal experience with GPT?
It's unbelievable.
It shows the sophistication of the audience. Now, there's another technology which we demonstrate here, and we actually do it in cooperation, in partnership with Microsoft and with Accenture. But we have 70, 80 companies in a consortium behind us. It's the Global Collaboration Village, which is the first, probably the first Metaverse application for public good. What are your thoughts about it, Satya?
First of all, I think the vision you've had, Klaus, around using this new technology of Metaverse and these immersive experiences to bring the world together, to both have that sense of community presence and collaboration, I think it's just absolutely needed, right? I mean, if I think about what is special about Davos, it's about the ability for multiple stakeholders to come, convene, learn, debate, come out of it with energy on what they can do to change the world. And so to some degree, to say that if there's some new technology that can, for example, really bring this global collaboration village to life, where not only can people collaborate when they're here, but it can be an ongoing thing, I think it's fantastic. So I think I would encourage everyone to go see the exhibits, because I feel the thing that is most, for me, game-changing about this particular technology is that sense of presence one has, right? Which is when you're even virtually interacting. I think during the pandemic, all of us obviously did a lot of video meetings. And I think it has definitely got us through the pandemic, and I think they're going to be very much part of our lives. And I think of this as a very natural extension of it, because beyond video meetings, if you can have more immersive experiences where that presence, the co-presence can be felt, you can understand the impact of any of these hard topics that we're talking about, I think that can be pretty game-changing. So I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm glad to be partnered with you on it, and I would really encourage everyone to participate.